now it's time for Catherine, who will tell you more about the web animation and present the PFL Extension School. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you for being here tonight. I'm really happy to be here myself. Tonight I'll be presenting what I call an exploration of web animation. I wanted to see and to research what are the topics that are currently being discussed about animation, and also what are the tools that are being used. Having said that, it is a topic that is very wide, so I selected elements or tools that I find interesting for my work, and I hope that it will be interesting for you too. It is more for me also a way to start a conversation, a discussion about web animation. So please participate if you work in this field and if you want to give a feedback. So again, animation today, just before, my name is Catherine. I'm a course instructor at the EPFL Extension School. I also work on a project that I will discuss a bit further later that is called My Digital Future, and it's a fellowship. Well, end of the like when when a website is being loaded, what is very useful to have is, for example, a loader or progress bar. But most also important is to make the user feel that he doesn't or she doesn't wait for a long time. So entertain while the person is waiting. Animations can be used like with buttons. If you click on a button, you want to know what happens. So if the button tells you, for example, that the process is, there's a process behind, and if the process is successful or if there is an error, it is always good to know. Another, like here it's very subtle, you don't even see it, but it's like the small scrolling icon that it tells you to scroll down. Animations can also express a brand personality. It can be quite straightforward, for example, with 7-Up and their bubbles. I don't need to explain. Or it could also serve, like, for example, a design company that, like Paper Tiger, to make the whole experience like more lively and more maybe entertaining and visual for the user. Animations can also tell a story. Here I have two examples. There's one that is for a creative festival called Kick Festival, where you have animations based mainly on hovers. You have all the links to on the presentation, so you can see them like more in details once you receive it. They're nice because you have really like subtle animations, and sometimes you, at least for myself, I felt I was more attracted by the animations themselves than the content of the website, which is not always good, but it tells a story. The same with the website of Google called Your Plan, Your Planet, and here everything is made around animation to make you think about how can you, what are your habits around food and energy, and what is the energy, again, you waste when you consume food. There are many studies around web animation, especially when we talk about user experience design. What I find interesting, of course, web animation is related to, it's time-based. So everything related to time is important when you create a web animation. And there are, for example, studies or research that show that an animation should last between 100 to 500 milliseconds, depending on the situation. Below 100 milliseconds, it's too fast and the brain doesn't have the time to process the animation. And above 500 milliseconds, you might feel that there's a problem with the website because it's too slow. So you have to work with the pace and the length of an animation. You also need to make sure that you consider the size of the screen, because if a screen is bigger, the animation should last longer, especially on mobile screens, because it takes more time to go from one side to the other when the screen is bigger, obviously. One feature that I find interesting is that when we think about, again, you have a website that is being loaded, you can use loaders, you can use progress bars, but one feature that has been discussed these last months or maybe years is the skeleton screens, because instead of showing your user that he has to wait, you show the user that things are being loaded and that things are happening and that things will be presented soon, instead of saying, oh, you have to wait because our website is a bit maybe slow, or it takes time to process the data. When it comes to developing web animations, you can use a lot of tools, a lot of technologies. You have CSS, you have CSS preprocessors, you have CSS animations libraries, JavaScript libraries, web animation API. So for me, it was a bit also difficult not to get lost with all these technologies. I selected the ones that speak to me most. And starting with CSS, what we can do with CSS. Why use CSS? There are benefits with it. For example, compared to script-driven animations, CSS can be easier to learn. It has a really it can have a simple syntax, but you can make also very complex animations with CSS. It can save your users CPU and battery, but then you'll have to make sure that you work with the right properties, because there are properties that if you change them, can take more time to be processed and can slow your website too. So you have to be mindful about that. When you use CSS, there are three main properties, or properties that you can use to move elements in a website: CSS transforms, CSS transitions, and CSS animations. Out of the three, there are only two that are time-based. These are CSS transitions and animations. And the difference between the two is that when you have transitions, you go from one state to another state. And with animations, you can have multiple states, so make your animations more granular and more precise. So most of the time, when you have examples on the web, you see CSS animations. If we go back just to the basics of CSS animations, you first have to describe your animation. You have the animation name. For example, here, text focus in. You have the animation length, duration, the time curve. Here, it's a cubic Bezier, but it could be an is in, is out. Just the main thing here to have in mind is that it's always good to have an animation that is not linear, but for example, it can start really slow and then move faster, so it looks more natural than like a linear one. And then you describe the steps of your animations with keyframes. So here, for example, you have, when at step 0%, you have the opacity is 0 and you have a blur. And when you go to 100%, the opacity is at 1 and the blur is gone. So this is really like a simple example, but to show how a CSS animation can be created. But then, of course, you won't be able to do everything using CSS in some situations. And for example, when you want to control the state of an animation, then you'll have to use JavaScript. And here it's an example showing that, for example, you have a button play, you have a button pause, you have just events. So when you click on the button play, it plays, and when you click on the button pause, it pauses. But this is easier to do, or can be done with JavaScript, controlling your CSS animation. And then you move to, if you want to look into CSS preprocessor, here is an example of an animation made with less. And I don't want to go through the whole code, but just why would you use a CSS preprocessor for an animation? Here, what the obvious reason, for example, is that you can use variables that you can change over time. You can use loops to change the value of a variable, for example. And you can also use what they call mixins. So you create your animation, and then you include it in other part of your website. So you create it once, and then you use it in other part of your website. So this is made with, again, a CSS preprocessor, and you don't need, for example, JavaScript to do this. Then there's the question about images. What type of images do you use with animation? And here, I think one of the obvious file format is SVG. Why? Because it's sharp and crisp, whatever the size of the screen, because it's these are vector graphics. And so they're using mathematics to represent the image. It's resolution independent and responsive. SVGs have their own DOM, so you can animate elements of your SVG using CSS, JavaScript, for example, target one element and make it move. So for animation, it's very useful. I have an example here of like a simple animation, but when you hover on the animation, like the sun moves. And this is made with CSS variables. So CSS variables are also called custom properties, or custom properties for cascading variables, I think. And here, these variables are not the same ones as the ones you use with preprocessors. They're really CSS, proper CSS variables. And these are very useful with animations, because then now you can give a value to a variable. And here, when you hover on the image, the variable changes, its value changes. And you do this with CSS code only, without JavaScript. You have it here. You define properties, for example, the color of the sky and the angle, the degree. And once you hover, the color and the degree changes. it can also become more complex when you have when you start to use CSS variables with a preprocessor. And here it's an example. The code is quite complex, but what we can get out of it is that there's a CSS click event. So it's a sort of hack. Instead of using a JavaScript event, you have a CSS event. Like when you click on the sun, it goes from sunset to sunrise. And again, here you use custom properties to define the colors of the different elements of the images. You use loops. Loops are useful, again, for animation because, for example, you can define a different delay for each element of the image. Here you have the time, and each element moves at a different, has a different delay thanks to a loop that is in CSS. And again, you use mixins to define these transitions or animation and reuse them in the website, for the animation or for different parts of the animation itself. And then I realized that my presentation is quite short. Maybe I went too fast, I forgot some things. But
Straight to the point.
Sorry?
Straight to the point.
Good. So here a last slide, because I wanted to mention what would be the next steps for my exploration. Mainly, I would like to deep more into GreenSock animation platform. It is a platform, JavaScript platform for HTML5 animations. I want to dig into this platform because for someone who comes from more a designer background, the way you can create animations is kind of not straightforward, but it's easier to work with compared to other tools, at least for me. So this would be my next step to continue exploring these animations. And again, like, sorry if it was short, but I thought it was.
There's time for questions.
Yes, if you have questions. Do you have questions?
Are the variables in CSS working with any browser?
No, that's the thing. That's something I had to mention. Now they are quite well supported, but of course they don't work on Internet Explorer. Of course, I think Opera and BlackBerry. So there are fallback values that you can define that can be used when the browser doesn't support these variables. Thank you. Yes.
Are there, for example, if a company works with a web developer but would like to outsource the development of animation?
Yes.
Is it usually, is there such a practice in the market like this? Or usually the web developer takes care of the animation as well, or can it be outsourced or not?
I think that I don't work for a company right now, but I think that the animation can be built and developed by, for example, a front-end developer in the company. You mentioned this example in your company. It could be outsourced, but I don't, unless the person is really good with animation, like the consultant, I don't see why it couldn't be.
Maybe for limitation of time, for
Maybe, yes, yeah. But the first thing I would see first is to do it in-house. But again, yes, if you have.
And are there, I don't know if you have resources to look at animations in CSS, like are there open source, for example, resources to follow and to see examples?
You have the examples that I show here are mainly in CodePen. I have all the links under all the images so you can look at them. For simple ones, I don't know what's best to do here, sorry. For example, if you want to go test the like basic animations first, there's this website called Animista, and here you have, I discussed all the like the properties that you can have in a CSS animation, and here you can play with them. Like on this website, you can really play with the, where is my mouse?
On the right.
Do you see my mouse? Here. You can really play with, these are basic animations, but they show you what's the CSS code behind, and then you can, for example, here, you can, and then you have the code and decide if you want auto prefixers for Safari or minify your code. These are like, again, yeah, simple examples that you could use for your like first animations. And then the others are in CodePen mainly. And you have the links on my, I can send the slides and you'll have all the links.
Thank you.
Yes?
Are there any tools that help you write animations or complex animations? I mean, these are quite simple.
These are simple ones, yeah.
But the one you showed, for example, with the sunset and sunrise,
Yes, yeah.
Very complex, and
yeah.
do you just do it by trial and error and see or do you have tools?
Again, I don't have a tool in mind for more complex animations. What I do is that I look at examples again in CodePen and see how they're done. And if I can understand it, I'll try to, to really see how they're built, how they build their loops for these animations, for example. Yes, for more complex one, I would go to these to see these example in CodePen, and there are also articles explaining, like line by line, why you use this loop or how you can make this happen. But these are more in like articles, like in. Do I have an example?
In the CSS3 site, you can find not all the animations, but you can find how to make an animation or transforming or rotating, whatever. CSS3, I think.
CSS3 website?
On that is the website.
Okay. And in CodePen, you can also filter. You can filter, yes, examples by, for example, animations or by CSS animations, and then you'll have all the results specific for these ones and examples.
In CSS3,
yes.
You have the definition, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe I can see that in CodePen they do the transformation.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
if I don't know there's animation or another thing, I mean, the CSS3, they have to put libraries users look at it.
Right,
and
yes.
sometimes they give you some examples.
Yeah.
It's a very good thing.
Thank you. No, it's a good one, yes.
Just one thing related to this, there's a tool from Adobe, I don't remember the name, but a tool from Adobe where you can drag and drop your vector, SVG vectors, and it's like Flash in the old days where you do your twin animations and stuff like this. I think it generates CSS3. I never tried, but...
Is Experience, Adobe Experience?
I don't know.
Okay. You have this also with InVision, where you create this transition from one page to another, and it gives you some code. That's right, yeah. Yes?
I have a question from the stream. Someone asking, can GCAP be used in Android, iPhone, or iPhone apps? Which is the libraries?
Yes, this I would have to check. I don't know right now, because it's my next... But from what I read, it's compatible with almost all browsers and devices because it has about 10 years. It has about 10 years now. It's been out for 10 years now, and it's often mentioned as a tool to use to make sure it works everywhere. So I guess so, but I'm not 100% sure. Yes?
What is the purpose of your exploration, and how do you, what do you want to deliver, or is it something to deliver?
The purpose of my exploration for me is because I'm interested in animation. I use some of them on websites, but I wanted to go further, and yes, make the website I create more interactive, I guess. And
do you work on a library, on something like that, to explore, but to like what you did with all example and all of kind of animation and of those kind of
like my own personal. Yeah. This would be, again, I think it would be my next step, because right now what I did is that I really explored examples that are out there, and just wanted to see also what are the tools that are used and what are the ones that are good for me, and this would be, of course, the next step. Thank you.
One more question here.
Sure?
Yeah.
Yes?
Usually, what's the practice, I mean, in terms of animation, a website, how much is too much of animation?
So the question was like, what's the best practice in terms of animation on a website? Yeah. Of course, it depends first of the purpose of the website. Because the examples I showed, you have websites where the animations are very subtle, sometimes, and they help the user find information and go from one page to the others. Other websites are really like made to create a whole experience where it's no more about like finding content on a website, but it's more about the experience behind it. So if it's a website that is a commercial website, or a website where you want your content to be seen, you shouldn't have too much animations. It's difficult to say how many, but one thing that is good to have in mind is that, for example, you don't need to have all your animations start at the same time. You can have animations start at different time, depending of what you're looking at on your page. Because if you have them all at the same time, for example, your website becomes slower, but also you don't know where to look anymore. Yeah.
Can I, one last question,
sure.
please? With pop-up banners,
yes.
how animation works?
In which sense? Or yes?
I mean, like for example, pop-up banner for lead generation to ask to encourage users
yes.
to drop their email address
yes.
or something. Like, does it work simply, or like it's two combinations and then you combine them?
So for pop-up banners on websites, usually they either appear automatically when you arrive on a website or when you click on a button. These can be made with animations or just by a click and it appears. So what you mean, like best practice in terms of how long should it be appear, or?
I mean, can you develop with CSS animation pop-up banners that would lead to gathering, collecting information, or am I talking about two different things now?
To create a pop-up banner, you can create it like either with CSS or with JavaScript, I think. And it could be an animation if it's more, but I don't see it as an animation itself if it just appears like this. It's more of an event, it appears, and you have the information. But it could be more complex and be part of an animation if this is what you're looking for too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Je vais l'enlever. Oui. Stop recording.
Yeah, before we move on, just want to thank again our speakers tonight. So Jacques, please. Can you come back here? There's some gold from Switzerland. Can bring back to France. Thanks a lot for being part of the event tonight and for speaking here. And Catherine, thank you very much.
Best part now. Because I told.
Do you have the string?
Yeah.
Great.
So yeah, we'll play code. So you will have a link. So you all need a browser right now on the phone, of course. And you have to go just actually previous. Every one of you will go to the code.it website right now. And I will give you in a minute a code to enter a room to play the code. So tonight we have 3 prizes, which were pretty great. Really? So I will continue with the explanation of how works a code. Just go to the codes.it website, or just download the app if you already have it. So how it works. On this screen, we'll have the question up on the top of the screen, and you will have the answer with those shapes, and you will have only this on your phone. You'll have not the question, not the answer, only the shapes. So be careful to use maybe the colors or the shape, whatever you want. I will try to distract you to answer like badly every question because I don't know the answer. And we have like how many? 14 questions? 12. 12. Yeah. And we have like half of them are from Jacques. The first one from Jacques. 6, sorry. And all the others are from the second talk. So yeah, we don't mess all the questions because they are quite complicated. Ah yes, sorry. The stream should hate me now. They can play, yeah. Anyways. So everybody understand how it works? It's not that complex. And you have to answer quickly because it works with quickness. If you answer quickly, you get more points than your opponents.
What is the P?
What? I will show you. Wait, come on. We'll come. You play. Just uncheck the random question.
No worries.
Just random as no question.
The order of
No, but order of answers you can, and just classic. Okay. So this is the number you have to enter on the Kaut app or the Kaut IT. Tell me. Everybody can play. You can play, Yanis, if you want.
Ooh, are you sure?
Yeah, you don't saw the answer, so you can play. Ah yes, I'm always on front of the screen. It's very useful. You can choose your name. You have 2 attempts and you can choose it. Don't try to spin, it's not working. That bad UX. This is the only way we have to know how many people are in the room, you know. And if everybody's playing. People have 2 phones, you know. I want to win. Everybody is here? Someone's missing? Someone don't have internet, maybe, and need the Wi-Fi? I don't have Wi-Fi.
There is a public Wi-Fi code on the wall over there if you're looking for Wi-Fi.
Seriously? Oh. You can just scream the answers you think it's the correct one. Okay, let's start. Everybody's here? You can join if I start. Okay, start. Wait, who was here? Oh, sorry. Too late.
Too late.
What was the operation of the first slide of Jacques? Like, yeah, it's kind of tricky, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. Like, a girl, a boy, carrot, and France. Boy, girl, carrot, and Switzerland. Boy, carrot, boy... Oh, come on, that's like impossible to remember this. Like 10 seconds to answer. It's all about guessing. Nobody can answer correctly, properly this question. Oh, I should have to put the... I've been here. It would be very practical because... Great. Who is friendly beer? First one, okay. Decisive ferret. Don't be shy. I don't bite. White turtle, brave elephant. Brave elephant is Jill, white turtle. Oh, you can't win, Catherine. What is not a key to success in each shop? Forget open graph and social media, have a correct GDPR policy, focus on business feature, have an API for the future PWE. Not a key, yeah? This is not, what is not a key? Like not everybody answer. Oh, come on, guys. You should try, because you don't win anything if you don't try. Okay, see? Power Panther. Properly, okay, great. Brave Elephant again. Dynamic Kitten. Who's Dynamic Kitten? Okay, me. It's all my company. Why do we decide to use the Symfony binary? Because Docker for Mac is too slow, because it's fun, because of Magento, because Sylius is built on Symfony. 3 seconds. 2, 1. I'm here to distract you from answering quickly, you know. You should not listen to me. 6 correct only? Come on, but nobody answered this one. I'm kind of sad. Expert hook, who's expert hook? Nobody's expert hook here? So someone for the stream is playing and winning. Okay, still the same. Where does Sylius come from, sorry? Poland, Switzerland, France, Ukraine. Ah, it's quite easy. Oh, who answered France? So cute. I can see. I think I can. I can blame people. I always try. Still expert hook. Still you. Continue like that, because if you continue to answer properly every question, you get bonus streak.
He's not cheating. I'm answering after him.
Yeah, just right. It's not correct. Which balance bat? Oh, sorry, I clicked. What is the? Is it the acronym of the? Oh, it's easy. Everybody knows it. If you make it wrong, seriously, it's a shame.
In English.
Oh no, it's so important, you know, guys. Who is balance bat? We're going on the ladder. Continue like that. I think maybe we win. Brave elephant? It's not you. Who is brave elephant?
Oh, I'm balanced bat.
It's balance bat. Yeah. Who is brave elephant? It's nobody. It's true. Sorry. Right, elephant. Okay, 2 questions last for Sylius. In a new flow, what is the next to the each will be fine status at the top? You have the question. To be validated to the client, I don't know. There is no status like this. Production. Should be fine production. I like it. I would say there is no statue like this. Oh, yes! I should play next time. Come on, expert bat. You have like, how many? 1,000 more than others. Just stop playing, please. We have 3 prizes, don't worry. When was released the version 1 of 00 of Sylius? September? Oh, shit, it's impossible. It's so close.
Sorry.
It's not this year. It's not last year. Oh, come on, boy. A lot of people. See, it was the last one, I think, from Sylius. So Now, right now it will be about animation, about Catherine question. It will be complex to be first. Will not lie to you. Which CSS specification can make things more move over time? CSS transform, CSS animation, transition, all of them. Transition, transform, animation.
Oh, you can answer two?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Sometimes there's... No, you don't have to answer two. The two are correct. It's easier. It's just easier. Expert org, but you don't answer correctly. You answer properly? No. So you lose your bonus for consecutive question. What type of animation we present tonight? Animation that express brand personality, 3D, enhance user experience, mobile app animation. Oh, it's quite easy. Like 20 seconds for this. Come on, guys. Still 2 go? 3 is go? 1? Answer something? Oh, someone don't answer. Someone quit, rage quit. I answered properly. Polite. Oh, who is the second one? Oh, you may win. For sure. What does the notion of perceived performance refers to? I don't even understand the question. The number of animation display on the web page, a complicated way to assess if a web... Oh, just read. Too long. It's too long for me. Measure how long something feels to user, measure how fast something feels to user. I would say green one. Is that the green one? Oh, yes, this is the green one. Oh, dynamic kitten. How many questions? 3 in a row. Who is dynamic kitten again? Ah, yes, still you. How are CSS variables officially named? So this is very tricky. CSS cascading, custom properties for cascading variables, CSS variables. This is tricky because, I mean, everybody uses all of them. Yeah, for cascading. I hope, Tony, you answered properly? You give a talk on that at the company. Who's Epic Penguin?
Oh.
So yeah, it's pretty close for those 3. No, all of them. So all of them can win one of the gifts. What is the benefit of CSS over JavaScript when it comes to animation? Easier to learn, more flexibility, look nicer, CPU friendly. Which one is? It's like 2 questions to the end? Ah, everybody answers. Ah, okay. Oh, nobody answers look nicer. Because it's nicer. Okay, it's the last one, I think. Yeah, it's the last one. When is JavaScript useful when working with animations? When you need to control the state, when you want to annoy CSS purist, animation look nicer or faster. I will say when you want to annoy CSS purist, you know. And because sometimes it's overkill to just use JavaScript. Oh, someone answered that. Oh, some troll. Okay, so who are the winner? Expert Hawk. Yes, you can see the 3 prizes. We have 3 prizes. And you can choose one of them. So we have one boombox, boombox. We have, one elephant. Is this the name? Elephant, I think so. And we have one Jenny Ducon, and we have one of the co-authors here with us. So you have to choose which one you want. And the second one will be able to choose another gift, and the third one will have the only options we have. Take this. No. I have to give them names. Epic Penguin? So what do you want? This is a French book dedicated by the 2 authors, I think. It's about Python. Mais de rien, avec plaisir. And this is it, correct. Congratulations for your prize. It's not working? No, just start this. Which one was it? Oh yeah, this is unfunny brought now. No, not true. So yeah, we have an open mic session right now. So if you want to say something, you want to share something, if you want to tell your name, I don't know. Just feel free to come. I don't want to stay alone here, please. Yeah. Take the microphone so the stream can hear you.
Hi everybody, my name is Eystein. I'm a front-end developer and I'm looking for work. So that's easy. I specialize in the UX, accessibility, the old school front-end, not the new school front-end with tons of frameworks. But comfortable with both, so that's it. Oh, and remember when you're tweeting pictures, add like the little accessibility text on describing your pictures as well, since I have the chance to say it to people, so I'll do that. Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
Hi, I'm Flora. I'm one of the Geek Girls Carrots organizer. But today I just want to quickly promote another kind of event. I'm a member of the Swiss Oracle user group, and we're having an event in Lausanne in May on the 21st. And this is an event focused on technical presentation around databases. So it will not only be Oracle, we'll have MySQL and SQL Server. And just to drop a few names, we'll have a presentation on MySQL replication on Docker and things like this. And we have very interesting speech about microservices by Franck Pachot. Maybe some of you know him. And we have very, very impressive international speakers. So I cannot show you the link, but feel free to talk to me and I'll give you more information about this great event. And we have beers. And we'll also have a croissant, because it's in the morning and beers is not really acceptable at 9 a.m. But yeah. That's it.
Feel free to comment. Sorry? Feel free to comment the link in the box in the tweet. Someone else want to say something? You have slides? No, you don't have?
Hi, so I am another Geek Girls Carrots organizer. And I wanted to share with you a website that I created in February because there are lots of events going on in Geneva, as you can see. But not all of them are on Meetup. Sometimes information about events is distributed, hard to find, easy to miss, which I found annoying, so I found a solution. And I have a website called weareonline.ch, like we are online, but we meet offline from time to time at least, like today. So if you want to stay in touch with all tech and startup-oriented events, because I focus on these kind of events, I publish them regularly. We have Twitter page, We Are Online CH. We have, we have a Facebook group, Tech and Startup Events in Geneva, and a newsletter. So if you want to stay in touch with the events, let's check it out. Thanks.
Thank you. Again, okay. I'm thirsty. I need my beer.
Oh, sorry. I'll be quick. Hi, I'm Sylvain. I'm a web developer, and last year I had the idea to write a book about how to learn to program. You have a copy here for exposition. And I have a few more copies with me, so if you want to have a look at it or buy one copy, just come by.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so it's the end for everyone now. More slides.
Just one quick... I just wanted to say something quickly. We just launched a fellowship at the EPFL Extension School, which is one of the sponsors of tonight's event. It's called My Digital Future. and it enables up to 100 individuals to take 6 of our courses for free, from beginner level to the most advanced in web development. So you go from learning how the internet functions to create a fully functional web application with Ruby on Rails. It is open to all Swiss residents aged 18 or older. And if you complete the whole 6 courses plus a capstone project, you'll gain an EPFL diploma, a certificate of open studies, from the EPFL itself. So applications are open online at mydigitalfuture.ch, and it is open until the 3rd of June, and we are selecting fellows on a rolling basis. We will, I think, select the first ones next week. So if you're interested.
How long does the program last?
You have up to 2 years to take all the courses. Yeah. Thank you.
It's a lot of material.
Yeah, it's a lot, like really. Everybody starts at the beginner level and goes from beginner, like first, again, like heard to how to create a website from scratch with CSS, HTML, CSS, then learn the basics of programming with Python and JavaScript, then 4 courses on how to develop a web application using Ruby on Rails and JavaScript.
Online, offline?
Online, sorry. Everything is online, self-paced, so you can organize your learning according to your personal life or professional life, and free. And also it's online, but you have support. So once a week, you can ask for support from your instructor. If you have questions, you can meet the person online and discuss your questions.
And how many hours average study per week?
An average, I think, of 8 hours. Then it depends, like if you work, of course. If you work full-time, if you have more time. But you have, again, up to 2 years to finish the courses. You have to finish 1 project per course, so 6 courses, and then you have a big capstone project. With this project, you can really choose a topic that you like and apply it for your web application. Like. You think about an idea that's interesting for you, and then you discuss it with your instructor to see if it's in line with like the project and the exercise, and then you build your web application. Yeah.
So if you want to take some information back,
yes.
Catherine brought some.
We have brochures, flyers, and I'm happy to answer any question.
Please help yourself.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So you don't see my slide.
Hello, my name is Vincent. I'm returning to Geneva after 10 years of Central Asia, Kyrgyzstan mainly. And I'm a biologist and computer scientist, and I'm trying to develop a discipline which is called bioelectrography. It's about the light we produce from our body. And I can make a demo if you like, or maybe you can make a meetup. And basically it shows how, from your finger, for example, you irradiate light and how it looks like, and how using computing and software development you can build and make inference from your bioenergetic parameters. Yeah. So if somebody is interested, it's not a website.
Thank you very much. So yeah, I'll introduce myself before. So I'm Kevin, one of the co-organizers of Webmardi. And this is an association now, Webmardi, and we are looking for people to help us because it's like a lot of work. So if you wanted to just help us with social media, or just taking photography at the end of the event, stuff like that, come by to us, and we will really appreciate your help. So what's next for the Webmardi? The next event will be in Lausanne. It will be by Raphaël Saunier, who will talk about Laravel. He writes some books about Laravel. He knows very well Laravel, so if you can come, you should come, because it will be very, very good. It will be in Lausanne. It will be in May, the first Thursday of May, so 7th of May. Subscribe to the Webmardi. It will be online in, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe?
Yes, something like this.
Okay, perfect. And what's next for Geneva Web?
So next Geneva Web will be on the May 13th. We'll have Artem Avetizian speaking about full stack testing, and especially full stack testing that does not suck. So I hope it will be interesting for everyone. So again, it's at lunch here at the SDG Solution Space.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.